Google Stitch is one of the most powerful free AI design tools that's currently available. It's powered by Gemini's models from Google and can create full UI designs within a matter of seconds. And the best part, we can couple this with Google's AntiGravity tool, one of the best ways of bringing your idea to life through code, and together they make something completely unstoppable. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can combine the two together so that you can get great UI designs and actually bring them to life with AntiGravity. We're going to cover how to design them in Stitch, how to then bring that to life with Google's AntiGravity, and then how we can actually make it live using GitHub and Vercel so that you can have it on a domain and anyone can access it. We're also going to cover how you can connect it through the MCP so that it gets the best skills possible working together, and the autonomous loop so that it can run through and generate multiple iterations all on autopilot. And along the way, we'll cover some tips and tricks to help get the best outputs. All the links, MCP files, and prompt templates that we cover in the video are going to be the first link in the description. First, we're going to come across to Google Stitch, and I'll include the link in the description so you can find it nice and easily. This is going to be the powerhouse that will help generate our complete UI. So when we come through, we're going to be able to see that we can create an app or a web design to help improve that output from day one. We're also going to be able to come down, choose the different models that we want. So for example, Flash will be great for high quality designs, but if you want something a bit more advanced, that's where we use the Pro version instead. If you've already got an app that you've brought to life, or maybe you want to enhance an existing website, then we're able to go through and use redesign, or actually bring a brand new idea to life with Ideate. We're going to come through and use Flash for this first version, but this is where we're able to get the next level outputs. We're able to come through and upload files, so reference images, but we can also give it a direct URL. So we're going to click on this. Then I'm going to come across to the real world company, Third Space, which is a more high-end gym that can be found in London, just to show you what's possible with actual websites that exist. So I'm going to come back across and then paste the URL in there. Now it's going to pull it into the prompt that we use, so it's going to actually go off and check that website when we give it the instruction. So I'm going to paste my prompt in there, which is quite detailed, but I'll explain why. We're going to make sure that we create an app and send it off. Now Stitch is going to go through and do everything for us. It's going to pull in all the information from that website, and it's going to go through and generate 3 different variations of our UI design. This can take a couple of minutes to go through, so don't worry whilst it runs in the background. So whilst that runs through, how do we get the best outputs with Stitch? Well, we want to make sure that we've got a structured prompt and not a vague prompt. The reason for this is because, of course, AI doesn't understand what we mean by, for example, saying a beautiful app or a nice gym app. That doesn't mean anything to AI. So instead of this really vague request, we want to break it down and really explain what we need. So for example, a 3-page mobile app, luxury health club in London. We want a home page. We want some of these tagline elements included. We want, of course, a club selector. We've got different membership tiers. We've also given it, for example, specific color hex codes. This will really help it get on brand from day one. Any different aesthetic designs, all of these different parts. This will help it create a really good base from the start because it's really explaining in detail what we want that output to achieve. The next part is I want you to remember something called 60-30-10 color rule. The reason that we want to do this is because it will help our app feel that more premium lens by breaking it down to have one dominant color, then a second or tertiary color, and then the accents color for 10% of what our app looks like. There are also websites where we can see different fonts. For example, we've got Play Fair Display, Montserrat, and Speak Grotesque. You can also come across to websites like Google Fonts, which have got hundreds and hundreds of different ones that you're able to choose from, and of course use it in your design. So for example, if you wanted it to feel more businessy, then you'd be able to use these examples. Maybe you want it to feel a bit more cute or maybe vintage. You're able to come through and choose all of these ones so that of course you can get the app looking exactly what you want by giving it specific instructions, such as saying use Caesar dressing font. And of course, because it's all within the Google ecosystem, it automatically understands what you mean. So now we've gone through and generated our first version. So if we come through, it looks like we've got the home page here. Again, we're going to cover a really good feature in a second. We've then got the different clubs here. So just to check that it can pull that information in, we've got Soho, Mayfair, Battersea, Canary Wharf, Islington and Moorgate. If we come back across to third space, up to their clubs, as we can see here, we've got different ones in Canary Wharf, we've got Tower Bridge, we've got tons and tons of different ones in here, Soho, Mayfair, we've got Islington, so all of the ones they were mentioning, we can find in here, ready to go as well. We can also see they've got a specific membership section as well, so we can see, for example, a single club with some points in there, we got multi-club, we got all access, we got some of the different, of course, functions depending on the tier you choose, and we've got the checkout order for us to use as well. So for example, if I now come through and select this specific one, and now we can go through and make some changes directly with just a prompt. To check what it looks like first, we're going to come through and choose, of course, mobile to see what it would look like. So actually, it doesn't look too bad where we put it in that specific setting. And if we want to show it on a new tab, again, we'll automatically be able to see from the start what it looks like. So that looks really good. So now I can come through and add extra elements in there nice and easily. We could say add a detailed club view with the facilities list as well. And now as simple as that, it's going to go through and add another section for us either at the end here or down the bottom here for us to be able to use. So there we go. We've just got a response back. So it looks like if we come down the bottom here, that's where it's going to be. So if we now just drag it up to the top again, we'll be able to see this. We could change the flow, for example, so we know the different elements, how they all tie together, all the different parts. We can also come through, annotate, change, add to chat, all of these different parts to go through and get the output that we really want. So now if we weren't happy with any of these designs, we're able to click on them. We could do, of course, the edit and add to chat on the left-hand side here to go through and get any updates. You can also turn on the toggle mode, which is generate 3 different variations. Or if you come up to the top, you can do regenerate, predictive heat map, or simply press variations. And now it'll be able to go through and get some different ones. For example, we could say different layout, color scheme, images, text font and text content. We wanted to redesign everything, and we're going to come up with 2 more variations. Now, as easy as that, even without the custom instructions, it's going to start going through and generating that for us. So there we go. As we can see, those 2 new variations are being generated for us. Of course, then to review and check which one we're happy with. So there we go. We just got the 2 updated designs back, which I personally think look worse than the original one that we had. So we're just going to come through and delete both of these, but that's the idea of how easy it is to go through and make all of the changes that you want. So now we've generated our UI designs, what's the process we need to follow? Well, we're going to take all of our ideas and put them into either a zip file, or we can use the direct MCP connector, which I'll show you in this video, and put it straight into AntiGravity. This will help us generate all of the code, and then we can store that on a platform called GitHub totally for free, and we can deploy it onto Vercel, again totally for free. We just need to, of course, pay for a domain if we want it to have access to that. So now, how do we bring it to life? Well, that's where we're going to need to come across to a platform called Google's AntiGravity. This is going to help us talk to platforms like Claude as well as Google's Gemini model to help build out all of the code to make our apps work. First things first, we want to make sure that we got the agent on the right hand side here that we're able to chat through, and you want to have a folder open if you don't already. What we're going to do is on the right hand side here, you'll see additional options. We're going to come down to MCP servers. So why do we use the MCP? Well, what an MCP does, or Model Context Protocol, is basically enables it to be the middleman and help us connect into Google Stitch with our UI design, but also access AntiGravity with all of the development tools and coding that we would need to. So this is where we can basically take the theory and make it into a reality. In here, there'll be lots and lots of different ones we can connect to. But of course, starting off, we just want to be able to connect to Stitch, because this is where we're going to be able to connect our UI design that we've just done and pull it straight into AntiGravity. We're going to press install. We're going to need to get our API key. So to do that, we're going to come back across to Stitch. We can see up the top here, we've got export. Before we do that, you can also generate a share link, just in case you wanted to give people access to review it and maybe approve it before, of course, it goes live. We're going to export though. You can come through and download all of the files to zip if you want to, but for today, we're going to come down to MCP. We're going to need to connect to our client first. So we're going to do setup MCP. We're going to be using AntiGravity, but you could use Claude Code, VS Code, all of these different ones that we have access to. We're going to press AntiGravity plus API key. This is going to generate one for us. And then all we need to do is copy this, come back across and paste in here. And of course, we're going to remove anything that is in that API key right at the end. So there we go. Now we can do save and it should go through and make sure it's all connected. This should go green and just confirm it's ready to go. So there we go. As we can see, we're now installed. We've got the configuration in here and we can see all of the different skills or tools that we'll be able to use to get the better outputs. So now we can close this down. Now, one thing that's really important before we run this command here is you need to make sure that you've actually selected all of the screens you want brought to life before you copy the prompt. Then we're going to come across to Google's AntiGravity. Then we're going to paste it into the agent section on the right and send it off. Now it's going to pull through all of those different assets for us to be able to bring to life. As we can see here, it's now using the MCP skill to go through and get all of the screens and pull through all of the assets. On the left-hand side here, it's now starting to build that all out for us so that we can then, of course, have the code to then run it locally and then, of course, push it to the web. So there we go, he's now gone through and brought it all through. As we can see here, we've got the images for each of the pages ready to go. We've got the HTML ready to go as well. Of course, all of this I'll include in the community so you can find it nice and easily. So now just to check it's all working, we're going to say, please start this on localhost. And what this means is it's going to basically start it up on our machine. We're going to get, for example, localhost 3000 on port 3000, which is basically just a nice, easy way for us to be able to visualize it before, of course, we push it live on to GitHub. So there we go, it's made the changes. We're on port 8000 this time. So all we're going to do is click. Now it brought us across to this screen, which of course we can click in and then we can see the different ones, which look absolutely fantastic. It's just not tied together at the moment, which is of course why and how we need to make sure it all works. So now we'll just come back and say, please can you make sure all of these different sites connect together, because it doesn't enable us to do that at the moment. We should be able to go between all of the different pages as we need. Also remember that this is specifically for a mobile app. It's not specifically designed for the web, so always display it within that orientation. Now we'll be able to send this off and it will go through and make the changes. Speaking of being able to make multiple changes at the same time, we want to come across to this GitHub repository and it enables us to have something called skills. What this does is it enables basically more capabilities, enhanced features within our Google skills. Think of it as like a toolkit for someone actually fixing a house, for example. We've got a tool that does every single job. We'll be able to do the design element, React components, which is some of the language behind the scenes. We've got the stitch loop, which is really important. We can enhance our prompt. We can do remotion for generating videos and animations and loads of different ones in here. What we want to do is make sure that we come up. We're going to copy this URL here. We're then going to come back across and just add another prompt. I also will need to go through and download this skills repository so that we can use it within the code in the future. And then we're just going to paste the URL in there and we'll be able to send it off as a pending message just to make sure that once it's made all the changes here, we'll be able to incorporate it in the future. There we go, it's gone through, made all the changes, and we can see that we've now got all of the skills on the left here for us to be able to use. So we're going to come down, we're going to click on this new URL. As we can see here, we've now got it back. It looks really good. And remember, all of these images generated by Nano Banana, which is absolutely fantastic. We can click find our club and now we can see all the different ones, which is exactly what we want. We've got home down the bottom. Let's do become a member. So again, we would change that UI design just to make sure that it's one after the other versus each other. But this is how quick and easy it is, and get that base set up. So now to use those skills, we're going to come through and do at. We're going to make sure that we type in skills and then we're able to come down to design MD. The reason we're doing this is because it will help generate some documentation around how our actual Stitch project's been designed, which can massively help get the improved outputs in the future. Another really important feature I recommend using is Stitch Loop. This will help you create multi-page websites from a single prompt to help you get that output straight away. And we also want to use the enhanced prompt because this will massively improve the quality of the outputs from day one. So those two combined together are incredibly important. So now we'll simply say, please can you go through and generate the design MD so that we've got it for the future. We'll send that off, get it to complete that final step. And there we go, it's gone through and generated it all for us. So now we've got the first version of our app ready to go. We're just going to tidy this up quickly and then we'll show you how to push it onto GitHub and Vercel so you can access through a domain. So there we go. What I'm getting it to do now in the background is we can tell it to use Google Chrome through one of the features that it's got. So now that blue line going around it shows that it's clicking around, seeing what's working, not working, of course, in the actual design that you would use on your phone to see what the suitability is. And this is one of the best features of AntiGravity, is the design quality is amazing, but as you can see there, the quality really takes it to the next level when it's able to go through and really test itself to see, is the output what we're looking for. Whilst that runs through, we want to come across to a platform called GitHub. This is where it's totally free and secure for us to go through and actually save all of the files for us to push through into Vercel. Once you're on your dashboard, you want to come to the left, come down to repositories, and then we're going to do new repository. So for example, this could be third space app. We're going to make it private so only we can access it. We're going to do create a repository, and this is where we're going to store all of the files. Then we're going to come down and copy this URL that you can see here. So copy, we'll come back across to AntiGravity. It looks like it's finished up all the changes. So then we're going to come through and just say that we want it to go through, tidy everything up, remove anything that's not needed before we push it all to GitHub, and so that we can host it on Vercel. We'll then paste that URL in there and send it off. Now we should go through, tidy everything up on the left-hand side here for the files that we don't need, and then we'll go across to GitHub, see all the different files, and show you how to host it on Vercel. So if we come back across to GitHub and then refresh this entire page, there we go. As we can see, we're now ready to go and up and running. So now we've got the code on here, which we can change and improve and track changes in the future. We need to come across to Vercel to be accessible on the internet. So we'll come across to Vercel, which will include linked down below. We're going to add a new project. We've got our GitHub added on the left. So we're just going to come through and import the third spaces app. We're going to make sure that we come down. Of course, you've got all of the different options if you want. I love using, for example, Astro because it's really quick for that response time, but we're just going to leave it as other as now and standard. So all we need to do is press deploy. Now it's going to start going through, trying to set everything up for us in the background. Again, we can go through and make lots and lots of changes. For example, like we showed earlier on, Astro, I really love using that, but now we should have that project ready to go. Of course, we can come through and buy custom domains. So for example, we could come through and we could choose, for example, Gym if we wanted to, and then we've got tons and tons of different ones for us to be able to use. We're going to come back though, and we're just going to press continue to dashboard. Now we'll be able to see everything to do with our Vercel instance, all the different files, anytime we redeploy it to get the latest versions. So all I need to do is press the link now, and it takes us across. So now we can see that entire app designed incredibly well. We can see all of the different elements, facilities, we can book classes, we've got confirmation, we can see the different ones going on, we can see our profile, we've got tons and tons of different things in here. If we come back to our home and we become a member, it's also tidied up that UI design here. We can tie in Stripe, loads and loads of different applications, but that's why using Stitch with AntiGravity is absolutely fantastic. So when do we use Google Stitch versus Google's AntiGravity? Well, Stitch is great if we want that first design principle, that base that we want to build from. Maybe we want to generate some images because, of course, we've got Nano Banana Pro, which is absolutely fantastic to help generate some of those assets to use in our applications. We want to take a couple of seconds, not really bring it to life. It's more of that example environment just to show what's possible. If we want to bring it to life though, we come to the more advanced element of Google's AntiGravity. This is all to do with the code that sits behind the app, the HTML, everything like this that will actually help it be usable on the web for us to deploy. We'll also have scalable and production elements so that no matter if we've got 1 user or 50 users, or we want to change and adjust any elements to do with how the app actually works, we'll be able to do that nice and easily. And of course, if we want people to be able to access it, that's where our GitHub and Vercel integrations also come into play. And that's just the start. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. We got lots about AI and automation. Come across to the community if you want to learn more about AI and automation, and stay tuned for the next video, and have a great day.